Welcome back, all my 40k fanatics out there. I'm DJ here at Tim's Nation to bring you another Warhammer 40k battle report. Today it is going to be the Grey Knights versus Lane and his DeathWatch in a precursor with the Grey Knights, and maybe after some recent buffs, maybe you want to see some DeathWatch on the table?
I don't know. I really like my Votan.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I've got a big DeathWatch collection, so it's always fun to bring them out. I'm going to try some different things today just to have fun with it. Not a super competitive list, but I built it to do Codex Warfare now that Codex Warfare has been changed, and I'm not taking that secondary today, so we'll see if it helps me at all.
All right, guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do. Turn on the bell for notifications to get notified on more content such as this one, especially, 10th edition. 10th edition it's coming quick. We got a lot of news, a lot of updates. We're getting taught how to play the game right through Games Workshop's websites right away.
Yeah, I said to DJ the other day, it feels like it's coming quicker than June because with the amount of stuff that they're sending us. Right. Everybody's still thinking June, and I'm not contesting that. It just feels like it's coming real quick with the quantity of information we got. I think they gave us 3 big rule drops last week, so it's coming.
Especially, and we're gonna. And it looks like right now it looks like vehicles, but that's all we're seeing. That's all we're seeing right now. But that's for another video. Today, it is about Grey Knights and DeathWatch. So, for me, Grey Knights, we're Pittsburgh's in the past. It's time to move on to the next event. It's in the past. We're done with that. The Imperial Guard doesn't exist. I refuse to identify them in this game.
Never speak of it again.
Never speak of them again. No, Lane, congratulations. You had a great showing there. Very positive showing.
3-2. I was happy with the result. 3-2 is good. It's a winning record. And I had all my opponents were great games all the way around.
Glad I could help you prepare. My 90 Necron matches were completely what got you there. That's exactly it. But no, kudos to you. So let's start off with what we're bringing here now. I'm looking at, I want to throw a shout out to Sweets and Geeks in Medina, nearby, close one for us. It's a local that we're probably going to do an RGT at. I'm at least going to try and make it out there. And this is what I want to prepare to take is Grey Knights. This is the rough draft build for me. And Lane's got some big boys. Lane's bringing some chunkies.
Yeah,
still.
I got some dirt nerds. A year or two ago, I had brought a lot of dreadnoughts with my DeathWatch. One of the nice things that DeathWatch can do with dreadnoughts is give. I have a relic shield that I can put on a character. It gives all core units around it within 6 inches of 5-up invuln. So that's good for the infantry, but also the dreadnoughts because they're core. So when you're able to give those big redemptors a 5-up invuln, just makes them all the more durable. If you've ever played into Black Templar dreadnoughts, you'd know what that means. I had that experience in Pittsburgh. But no, it makes them a little bit more durable, especially now that Armor of Contempt is gone. I brought back the heavy onslaught Gatling cannons on them because the AP1 and AP2 and Devastator Doctrine is a lot more relevant now that Armor of Contempt is gone.
Well, since we already got started on it, let's go over and give a quick synopsis of what we're bringing today.
Sure.
So with the Grey Knights, I'm doing a Preserver's Detachment, which basically means that I have a psychic power that I cast on it, that a unit casts, and if it goes off, they get a 6-up, feel no pain. If they're within range of a Apothecary, that goes to a 5-up. So with this, I have 2 10-man Terminator squads, objective secured, as well as being able to get that 5-up, feel no pain, because they are a Brotherhood unit, and some objective secured to hold out there with some big bulky boys. Then I got 3 10-man squads of Interceptors, one of which I'm going to keep as a 10-man. The other 2 are going to combat squad into 2 5-mans. The 5-mans will have double side cannon. The 10-man is going to be all halberds. It's a combat monster. Into my characters, I have a Librarian who's going to be my Warlord. He has the Psychic Epitome, and he also has Gate and Purifying Flame. While my second Librarian is going to be the one with Vortex, Purifying Flame, and the Sigil, so if he gets shot at, he can jump away. Going to be trying to target him with the Psychic Epitome a lot. Then you have Lord Calidor Drago, because he's been for me at least, he's a never leave home without him. He's a very, very versatile character with the rerolls, and he hits like a truck. He's going to have Gate as well as Empiric Amplification, and his third power is Warp Shaping to sit in the back pocket in case I want to change the tide. Last of my characters is my Apothecary, because I'll need him for the Brotherhood. He has Sanctuary as his psychic power and a Halberd. Lastly, but surely, well, kind of leastly, these are cheap throwaway units. These are my screens. 2 4-man squads of servitors. A lot of little weird versatility and stuff that I can do with these guys just because they're super, super cheap and can kind of hold backfield objective markers, question mark. So that's the list I'm looking at today. My secondaries are going to be Psychic Ritual, Raise the Banners, and Teleport Strike.
All right, guys. Today with DeathWatch. First, I just want to remind everyone that they did change our chapter tactics. So when it comes to doctrines now, I just basically get to choose any doctrine I want in my command phase, and that's active. I can choose them in any order. I can go back to them. I don't have any limits to the number of times I can choose a doctrine. So it gives me quite a bit of flexibility there. Now, as far as the list, I've got 3 HQs. I've got a chaplain on bike. He's upgraded to the Master of Sanctity and has the Wise Order Warlord trait. Plus, he has the Beacon Angelus relic that lets him basically teleport a unit, an infantry or biker unit, to him at one point during the game. Then I've got a lieutenant. He's got the Storm Shield and the Vulcanite pistol. And he's going to have the Relic Storm Shield that gives all core units within 6 inches of him a 5-up invuln. And then finally, we have the Tech Marine, Primaris Tech Marine, and he has the Relic, the Tome of Ectoclades. This is one I pop once per game in the command phase, and for the entire battle round, I will reroll all wounds against a chosen data sheet for any core units within 6 inches of him. So basically, if I want to, I choose one data sheet, and I get to reroll all wounds for a turn. Then when it comes to our troop choices, I have one little Proteus kill team, and this is the 5-man Firstborns. They've got 4 heavy weapons. These are all 4 the Infernus Heavy Bolter. It's a combi Heavy Bolter Heavy Flamer. And then we've got 2 Fortis kill teams. These are kill teams. They're both identical, but they start with a 5-man Intercessor squad, and then you can add models onto it. I added 5 Outriders to each of these. So there's 5 Intercessors and 5 Outriders in the squad. This makes the Outriders OBSEC, and as long as there's at least one of the infantry Intercessors in there, the bikes don't have the bike keyword. They are just considered infantry, so they can do actions and they can pass through ruins and that sort of thing. It makes them very powerful. When it comes to elites, I have 3 identical Redemptor Dreadnoughts. They have got the heavy onslaught Gatling cannon, the regular onslaught Gatling cannon, storm bolters, and the missile pod up top. And then we have 1 Leviathan Dreadnought. Haven't played him for a while. He's got the twin storm cannons, so he's putting out a ton of shots. Strike 7 AP1, 2 damage, 16 shots, I believe. I didn't have the points for the extra missiles on top, so it's just the storm cannons and then the Vulkites on the chest there. And then finally, we've got 1 heavy support. That is a 6-man Eradicator squad with 2 multi-meltas in there. The rest of the regular melter rifles.
All right, so you did touch on it a little bit. There's a couple of things from the recent balanced data slate that affects us. One is into your secondaries. So what are your secondaries you're taking for today?
All right, secondaries. So today I'm going to take Abhor the Witch. Now, Abhor the Witch was moved into the Purge the Enemy category. So it's in there with Assassinate, Bring It Down. It's in there with the DeathWatch Cull Order, and it's in there with Space Marines Codex Warfare. Of all those choices, I'm going to take Abhor the Witch because I think it's the one that'll be the best for this matchup. But that's why I'm not taking Codex Warfare in addition to that, because as we know, Abhor the Witch is now in the same category as that. And then I'm also doing No Prisoners. You said you had 128 wounds for
128.
No Prisoners? Yeah, so if I table you, I can get 14.
Wow, thanks. If I just come over here and roll your entire army, then hey, I score 15. Thanks. So that's your goal today. Thanks, buddy.
One can be hopeful.
Thanks, buddy.
One can be hopeful.
Yeah.
And I'm taking just good old Raise the Banners. I do not have anything that forward deploys, but like I said, the bike squads move pretty quickly. And while there's intercessors in the Outrider kill teams, the Outriders can do the action. So they can zip through ruins, put up a banner, and we'll go from there.
So now that Lane's done telling us this little bedtime story, I'm going to give you actually what's really going to happen. So here's what's going to happen is my Terminators are going to lock it down, and they're going to be sitting on Feel No Pains, and you're going to be hitting them.
What is
lock
it down? Is lock it down a secondary I don't know about?
Yeah, that's when I do Raise the Banners and Purifying Rituals and just lock it down. Just go, man,
that's a grudge.
Here it is.
That's a double
Here it
grudge.
is. Haha, no grudge for you. But yeah, that's what's going to happen. I'm going to sit there. I'm going to castle up. My knights are going to protect the castle. And then if you get close, I'm just going to punch you in the face with a halberd, which I guess doesn't really work that way. We're going to do some damage. Something that Grey Knights are going to do. Mine bullets. Mind bullets. I had everything up to there, man.
Well, I forgot to point out also that I don't have a captain, so I don't have any rerolls to hit. Other than I can obviously the dreadnoughts. I can Wisdom of the Ancients on them for 1 CP and turn them into a captain. But yeah, I just I don't know, see how it goes without a captain.
Sigh, shock, and awe. That's what I wanted. Sigh, shock, and awe.
Okay,
That's going to be this. We're going to bring the sigh, shock, and awe.
you can only do that. You can only call it that if you win. So
I already won, baby.
even.
Even.
Or it's a 2.
It's a 2, so I'm assuming I'm deployed first.
Sure.
All right, we'll be back after deployments. All right, we are deployed. So I do apologize that my Terminators are not completely battle ready yet. I just got some stuff approved with them to get them set up for this tournament, and I'm going to be doing a work. I got half of them already. So for this, I'm getting in a house. I got my Terminators, Drago, Librarian, and Apothecary all hanging out in here with 4 of my servitors on board for right now. I do have the Foretelling Locust, so I'm going to be able to redeploy up to 3 units. And I'm probably going to pull those servitors off the board, potentially. It's just nice. They're there to help me get other things into reserve, which we'll talk about in a minute. Over here, I got 2 5-man squads of Interceptors to be able to do some purifying rituals and score me some points, as well as 4 more of the servitors hiding behind the wall. In reserve, I have Terminators, 10 Interceptors, a squad, the 2 5-mans of the Interceptors, and the Librarian to deep strike in at this time, since Grey Knights like to deep strike, and it'll also be helpful with the teleport strike. Over here, we are getting over to Lane and his firing lane.
Yeah, unlike DJ, I'm proud of my paint jobs, and I want to put all of my models on the table. So I'm putting nothing in reserves. It's all out here on the tables. We've got the Proteus Kill Team, Fortis Kill Team, Eradicators over there. And then right up the middle, we've got big old chunky dreadnoughts ready to go in there and punch some Terminators.
Right on. So the mission we are doing is the Scouring. Lane, why don't you talk a little bit about that and what the mission secondary is for, or the mission primary is for that?
Sure. So it's a hold 1, hold 2 mission, the Scouring. Deployment, as you can see here on the table. The mission secondary is just the Auspex scan, so any one of your units can scan an objective you haven't scanned yet, and I believe it's 4 victory points, question mark. It is 3 victory points, exclamation point. So 3 victory points for each objective on the table that you scan with a unit.
Awesome. So we're all deployed, we're all set up. There's only one thing left to do. Determine who is going to go first. Lane, what are you liking in this? You want to go first or you want to go second?
Sure. I don't know.
Sure. Do you want to go first?
Well, I mean, I guess probably second because I don't see anything I can shoot at. And
Milk or
I'm
water?
here for the
yes. Hey, looks like you get your wish, so I'm going to be going first. We'll be back after the Grey Knight redeploy and movement phase. All right, so during the break, Lane shot his dreadnoughts at the terrain and destroyed the terrain, so now my Terminators are fully exposed.
Total destruction.
And in case you guys didn't know, that was in the recent data slate update. DeathWatch only can blow up terrain. No, just kidding. I want to leave the terrain out of the way for a second so I can talk about what I did here, because my turn's kind of boring. So the Terminators moved up to get in range of that objective so I can move out and ding the center objective next turn with a tougher unit. But I wanted to make sure I got banners set up. So I moved the Terminators up and up all the way to the wall. The only unit that could potentially charge them next turn would be these the Outriders, since Lane ignores the rune for the vehicle, right, bud?
Yeah, because the Outriders are part of a kill team. As long as there's at least one infantry guy in there, one of the intercessors with the squad, and I did not combat squad, so it's a full 10-man squad, 5 Outriders and 5 intercessors. As long as there's one infantry guy in there, the bikes do not have the bike keyword, so they can do actions and they can pass through ruins just like infantry.
And just in case anyone's wondering, the bikes are actually on the ground level. We just put them up top to make it easier for movement purposes, and so you guys can see those a little better since they're going to be moving out of there real quick. But yeah, so if he wants to charge me, that's fine. I can absorb a charge and beat him up pretty good. I was able to cast Hammer Hand on these Terminators, and I wanted to make sure to get the banners up and do the purifying ritual. So it didn't really seem like there was an advantageous point for me to come screaming out. Over here, I had one Purifier squad that was, or Interceptor squad that was able to cast Purifying Ritual. I left the servitors on the table over here to set up the banner, and I had a backup squad of a 5-man for the Purifying Ritual, but didn't need it, cast it on the first one. Over here, I also had 2 backups too, and that's one thing I noticed with Purifying Ritual. I don't want to miss those early, just easy 2 points, because I only have 1 psyker on a place early on. You know, going into possibly a 4-point turn or more is a little different with 1 guy casting. So that is going to be the end of my turn. Very straightforward, simple turn. I'm playing Terminator Castle Bricks. I'm going to score a 2 on Purifying Ritual. I set up 2 banners. Those will score in my next command phase if they stay there. And I also got a 3 on the scan. I scanned with Drago. And yeah, I don't get teleport strike. No jump, not jumping around just yet. So Lane, still didn't give you a lot to shoot at. Let's see what you're going to do with all those big dreads there. You know, a wise man once told me the best way to not lose that 40k is to not play 40k. And that's what we're doing right now. Is Lane is having an almost identical turn to me, just a little more, actually a lot more effective. He's got a good amount of board control as he wheels out with some of his Outriders. Talk to me about what you got going on here, Lane.
So I just moved Outriders up so they can raise the banner here. Again, they're part of this squad with these Intercessors. So the Intercessors are part of the same squad as them. Then this Redemptor is able to get up on the objective, and he did the Auspex scan, so I've now scanned the middle one, and then I put up a banner over on that one, put up a banner on that one, you know, farmed my command point, and that's all we got going on this turn.
Right. So
I'm here to kill, and I didn't get to kill anything yet. So sad.
Yeah. So you only get the 3 for the scan then.
Yep.
Right. All right. So yeah, that was a really quick and easy turn 1. Now let's get into turn 2 and see if we can't roll dice, because you know that is part of Warhammer, is also rolling dice. Okay, enough hiding in the buildings. We're coming out to play too. So had a pretty vicious psychic phase. The librarian came in from Deep Strike.
The little baby librarian.
Oh yeah, but baby's got brain bullets. He came down, got the psychic epitome from the librarian that's hiding back in the corner, 6 inches away. And he's back in here. I guess I could have left this off for a moment to show you guys what's going on. So there he is. It's like picking up a rock and finding ants or like potato bugs. So yeah, I just call my Grey Knights potato bugs. I'm
the Emperor's best potato bugs.
Aw, Grey Knights are the best potato bugs. They are. So Terminators came out. I cast Warp Shaping off of Drago so I could shift out a Tide of Shadows into the tide that lets me count 1s and 2s when I charge as 3s, because we're going to try and rush in there. The only psychic power I did fail was Empiric Amplification, try and get on the Dread. The Librarian off Psychic Epitome actually took a mortal wound because he periled, because I got 12 for Purifying Ritual and I took it. On total, we would have done 11 mortal wounds to the Dread. However, Lane spent a command point to go for the 5-up Feel No Pain off Armor Contempt, and he was able to stop 5 of them. So instead, we only did 6, but still, 6 mortal wounds was pretty nasty. I brought in these Interceptors out of reserve because I want to make sure I still have people doing Purifying Ritual in the back. And so they casted and passed over here. And then on this side of the map, we did the same thing. The 2 5-man Purifiers, or Interceptors, did Purifying Ritual over here to keep my points going on those. The Servitors that are down behind the wall are going to scan the objective. And now we're going to get into the nitty-gritty, a little bit of shooting, and then some charges. So Librarian has put a hurting on that Dread. Hopefully we can finish him off. I don't think I'm going to get the teleport strike off this one, but we'll see what we can make happen. So I will say I am sorry that these guys aren't painted, because here we're getting epic. The Dreadnought and the Outriders got charged by the Terminators, and Drago was able to stick his charge as well, making into the Outriders. Once again, I wish I would have had this moment on camera. Lane, want to tell everyone what happened when I declared the charge with the Terminators?
Oh, it was an excellent dice roll. I was very happy with it. DJ's in the Tide or whatever where 1s count and 2s count as 3. And he needed a 7 on the charge, and he rolled a pair of 1s. So it was safe, and he didn't make the charge. And then he rolled, threw a CP at it, rolled again, and got a pair of 6s.
Swapped out the dice. Yeah. Swapped out the dice on that one. And said, yeah, no, we need this charge. So, and then went from double ones to double sixes. Other side of the mechanics. So
about the most value you can get out of a CP reroll on the charge, going from 2 to 12.
There you go. So we're going to start this combat. We're going to start off with the Terminators are going to attack the Dread. They are Sanctuary and Hammerhand, so I am going to Sanctuary doesn't help right now. It helps afterwards if the Dreadnought doesn't go down. But I do have reroll wounds because of Hammerhand, so we're looking for 4s. I have 2 hammers, looking for 4s. Drago has given them the full rerolls to hit.
Good thing.
Ooh, yes, very good thing.
Thanks, Drago.
Thanks, Drago. And now we are Strength 8. You're T7. I'm looking for 3s, rerolling fails.
Again, it's a good thing we got those rerolls.
Wow.
Let's fix it.
Wow. Yes, let's fix it. All right, so we got 4 AP3.
Yeah, I got the 5-up invuln from the Relic shield nearby, so 5s. Good news, CJ. I rolled all 5s and 6s.
Well, good thing that I have extra little attacks on there, too.
I'm glad the camera was rolling to prove that I did that for real.
Yeah,
I just threw those dice in there. I didn't place them in there while you were turned away.
So let's go ahead and we'll do the falchion 2-handers next. So we'll need 3s with these because they're not hammers.
Yeah.
And the good news is we do have the full reroll. So even though we need 5s to wound you, we got full rerolls. Oh!
Good thing.
Oh my gosh. All right, a little better in there. We got 3 at you. Yeah, 3 AP2.
AP2. Yeah,
AP2.
so still 5-ups. Good news, DJ. I made 2 of them.
Right.
My 5-ups are on fire. I fell 1.
1 damage.
Started taking 1 damage, down to 3.
All right, warding stave. And that's 3 hits.
What strength is this?
+2.
You're gonna
yes, because I'm going up to strength.
You still need 5s.
Try to get dressed out. No. I'd be strength 7. Strength 4 +3 because it's 2 for the halberd, 1 for the sword. So I am getting at least 1 ding on you. AP1 though on the stave.
Strong. That's a 4.
Oof, that's not good. All right, so now we'll move over on the Outriders. Hopefully we can pick a couple guys up here. So let's, we're going to do the 1 damage guy first, which is my 2-handed guy. So he hits all of them. And then he's going to need 4s because, oh wait, do I go on T5?
The bikes are T5.
So I have to go on T5 because it's a 50-50.
As long as they are equal numbers of T5 and T4 models, or there are more T5, it's T5.
All right, so they're going to be, so I re-roll everything because it's strength 4 right now. Hey, look at that.
There you go.
4 AP2s.
AP2s, 5-ups. Okay,
1 damage.
1 damage piece, so I'm going to lose 2 intercessors. 1 intercessor is already mortal wounded, so
cool.
2 intercessors gone, bike's still there.
So that works out nicely. So now I get my power swords, which have 2 damage each. All hit. These are strength 5, so I'll need 4s to wound you. And I'm still hammerhand. So these are AP3. Yeah, 5 AP3s.
Okay, still 5-up invulns from the relic shield that's nearby. Make 2 of them. These are 2 damage apiece.
Yes, they are.
1, 2, 3.
So, okay, so Lane removed. We're removing the intercessors on this, keeping the bikes alive. So he's not going to interrupt. We're going to go right over into Drago and his 6 attacks, hitting on 2s, hits them all, wounding on 3s, fails 1, 5 at AP4.
Sure, still got 5-up invulns.
Yes.
5-ups.
Where was that on the Dreadnought? Okay.
So they're 3 damage apiece?
Yes.
Oh, that's mean.
So picking up that last intercessor. So sadly, I didn't get the Dread. Lane opted to start picking up bikes. He wanted to keep the Sergeant alive so that he was able to, for the leadership purposes, so he doesn't lose more bikes. I can feel that there. Those are not models you want to just poof, vanish off the field. And Lane's about to get a chance to strike back since the hammers could not find their home, find their mark to take out the Dreadnought. That's sad. But positive thing is, positive mindset, that thing does only have 3 wounds left, which means that's a nice easy pickings for a teleport strike.
Sure.
Got it in range for it. Got it in range.
He is in bottom bracket too, so
all right.
that means he's hitting on 5s. But the chaplain is there. He's core, so he does get to reroll all his hits. So here's the dreadnought going into the Terminators.
Now, you also get rerolls because I'm a troop.
Now that's the rerolls once to wound.
Oh, okay. Right.
Still only one hit.
Nice.
You see the 2 to wound you. There we go.
And you would have gotten to reroll that.
Yes.
All right. 4 up invuln. Hey, fine. Loving it. And now you got your bikie boys. They're going into the squad.
Yeah. Decent hit roll.
And then strength.
Strength 4 to T4, so 4s. Reroll on 1s.
Yeah, that was a good conversion there.
We are in Devastator, so these are AP 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, and neg 1, and 1 damage apiece.
All right, neg 1, so 3 ups. And there you said they're 1 damage each?
Yep.
All right, so 3, and I got my 5 up feel no pain because the apothecary is still within range.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll stop 1, so 1 guy will go down to 1 wound. All right, so that was a interesting combat step in there. The Dreadnought failed to pick up any of the Terminators. Thank you. The Outriders beat 1 guy up. He's down to 1 wound left, so he's probably seen better days. And that's going to end out my turn. So I do score 2 on banners at the beginning of the command phase. And then I will score another 2 on Purifying Ritual. And I got an 8 on the primary for holding the back 2 objectives, markers 4 and 3. So that's going to finish out my turn. And now we're going to go into Lane's. Oh, also, Lane did fail morale on the Outriders. He rolled a 6. Picked up the guy that was he put the last wound on the guy that was in combat, knowing that there was a very strong chance that he was going to fail morale. But Space Marines and they shall know no fear means that he wasn't going to take any extra combat attrition. So just banking on the fact of hopefully not losing more guys rolling ones. It worked out for him. He didn't lose any extra guys. But now he is not in combat, so that squad can function and act freely during his turn. So let's see what he can do with that little very, very well-placed play. Okay, so Lane's getting into some action. He said to me, I need to kill these Terminators this turn. Or I'm sorry, he was talking. He's like, okay, first I get rid of the Terminators. So Lane is already just writing that these Terminators are just gone. That they can't stand up to the firepower of the DeathWatch.
There's only 10 of them.
Yeah, and he brought over the Melta guys by just picking them up and saying, hey, you know what? It'd be better if they're over here.
Yeah, the Beacon Angelus relic with the chaplains. I can pop that once per game. They just bring a unit of infantry or bikes from somewhere on the table or in reserve and bring them close to the chaplain. So I did that. They're up here. They're actually on top of the building, so they can shoot down at those guys.
This is one unit that is actually on top.
They're actually up there. Hopefully they kill a couple dreadnoughts. And then...
And did you say you popped the Tome of Ectoclade this turn?
Yeah, so everybody within 6 of the Tech Marine will be re-rolling their all wounds against the Terminators.
Awesome. All right, well, it's going to be... you want to move to your Psychic phase?
Yeah.
Good job.
What are you trying to say?
Good job. Okay.
I have a chaplain and a Tech Marine. There's lots going on in the command phase you missed.
Yes. You well, let's talk about a little bit of it real quick. So you got the Dread is up to 6 wounds, and
yeah, the Tech Marine. He's not a master one, but I did roll for D3 and it was 3, so he healed up. I did make him also the Wisdom of the Ancients Dread for the turn, so he's a captain. Everybody within 6 of him is rerolling 1s to hit, and then I also the chaplain's litanies, the reroll hits in combat went off, as well as the +1 to hit. And I had given this one Dreadnought +1 to hit from the recitation of focus for the chaplain. And this Dreadnought, the Leviathan, got the +1 to hit from the Tech Marine.
Yeah, notice how you say you got rerolls in there. I thought you said you had no rerolls to hit.
Yeah, well, I lied.
Judge. All right, shooting phase. All right, so Lane did the deed. Terminators are down to 2. And this guy's only got 1 wound left, so I think that the Dreadnought's in his future. And then my characters got beat up a little bit. My apothecary actually tanked it. I could not make a single feel no pain with these Terminators.
You made plenty of feel no pains when I did 7 damage with the Meltons. Not anyone I did 2 damage.
I did 3 feel no. I got 3 feel no pains off of a 7 damage weapon. That converts. So, not looking good for the termies, but the characters were able to tank it, so at least I'm keeping the characters in the middle. Well, aside from one. One little guy is probably about to get run over. We got some invulns, so we'll hopefully see if that can hold us through, as Lane's about to do some charges. All right, so finishing up the combat step, the Dreads picked up the last two Terminators and the Librarian. It's the second time with that Sigil where I've gotten charged off. I'm not sure if I'm doing it wrong with the Sigil, or maybe if I should try and switch over to maybe try and get the 3-up invuln on him or something. I'm not sure. Drago was able to heroic as the Chaplain failed his charge, and he heroiced in over on the Outriders because they only got a 3-inch charge and was able to clean them up. The Apothecary only took 2 damage. He tanking it with his Terminator save, so he stuck it out in a very dangerous situation. And that's pretty much it. So, Lane, what does your score look like for the turn? You got 2 points for banners. And did you scan?
Yeah, these guys scanned. There was no way they could make it out and get shots and contribute, so they stayed back and scanned this one because I scanned this one first turn.
Yep.
And then 30 wounds for no prisoners, so it's 3 points for no prisoners, and then 5 for Aboard the Witch because I killed a character and a unit.
Correct.
Psychic powers.
All right, so that's going to put you in the lead right now. Let's see what I can do come back, because I still have some reserves to bring into you. So much blue, so much silver. The tide has come.
I need to see your list, sir. This is entirely too many Grey Knights to have in one list. I thought I just killed your whole list by killing a brick of Terminators, and now look what's on the table.
Another brick of Terminators. So ending the movement phase. I'm not able to do a scan because there is an enemy unit in the center. But I got these interceptors that came out. They're touching both objectives. The one going across the middle is touching both objectives, so I'm able to purify the back one if these guys fail, or I can try and purify the center with those guys there. I got a couple of...
You don't have to control an objective for purifying. You just have to be within range.
We need to double check that, but I have a plan to be able to control it here in a couple of seconds, which is going to go into the psychic phase here momentarily. And then back here, I have everybody, and tomorrow someone's going to purify this objective, or you're fired.
That's going to be the purest objective
you've ever
seen.
Yes, that will be the purest of the pure. So I did bring in all of my, brought in all of my reserves. The servitors walk down over here in the corner. They're going to just get over there onto the objective, so the other guys are able to do stuff. And over here, Terminators and Interceptors came down. I spent 1 command point on the Terminators since they arrived from Deep Strike, and they're going to get +1 to hit. So even though they can't get Drago's full rerolls this turn, they can at least get the reroll 1s for his aura, and we'll go from there. So we're going to do a very interesting psychic phase. All right, psychic phase went well. Was able to get 3 purifying rituals this turn on the objectives. And the way I was able to take this objective is first I used Ethereal Castigation on the Interceptors. So they shot, did a little damage to the Dreads, and then moved a second time. So then I took the objective, and then I was able to cast Purifying Ritual. And I got these Dreads kind of boxed in the middle of the terrain, so at least they're not able to get further. They're going to beat those Interceptors up, but at least they're not going to push too far into me, especially with this massive brick over here. So I get a chance to kind of spread out and react to them. Was able to purify back here, got Sanctuary on the Terminators, and Empiric Amplification on the Dread for a little extra side damage. Otherwise, that's about it. I don't think there was anything else. Just kind of bounced around with the other squad of Interceptors. I moved to the front, shot, and then ran back to the building since I was able to do Ethereal Castigation 2 times. And yeah, now we're going to try and shoot and see if we can't pick up these Eradicators with a whole bunch of bolter rounds. All right, so in the shooting phase, I was able to get the Eradicators down to 2 guys. Unfortunately, a misplay that I realized, and again, shaking off the rust with Grey Knights, I should have cast Ethereal Castigation, Empiric Amplification onto these guys and hit them with it, because then when my side cannons would have hit, they would have been a flat 3 damage, and I would have picked up more guys there because the side cannons did go through real nicely and were able to be in the AP1 going into cover. So not looking good for the teleport strike just yet. It's going to matter on the charge. So the big one is going to be the Interceptors, since they are 9 inches away from the Chaplain. So I do have my charge buff still in effect for the +1 for 1s and 2s count as 3s, and we need a 9. So let's Let's make it epic. That's a 3.
You'll need a 6.
That's a 3. What do you think? What do you think, Lane? Should I go for the command point reroll? I mean, it's 5 points if I stick this.
I mean, it's a 10-man squad, so there's a good
2 damage each.
If you get in there, it's a pretty good chance that you kill the chaplain. He does have 7 wounds because he was on a bike.
You know what? We came here to roll dice. Let's do it.
Throw those dice.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Here's my 1 CP for it. You know what? No, I'm sorry. Excuse me. I'm switching dice.
Oh, right. Get the fresh dice.
Right. We need fresh dice.
Pull that back.
Thank you.
Fresh dice.
A 4. So I need a 5.
5 or 6. There we go.
That's a 3.
That's what I wanted.
Oh, that's a 3.
Yeah.
But it's not in there. So after failing the charge, that's actually just going to end my turn. I got the 4 points on the Purifying Ritual, and I was able to still score my 2 with the banners that I have up. And it did not get the teleport strike. That's disappointing, and that's my fault. I should have been able to get that if I did the empiric amplification on those guys. I mean, maybe not. Maybe I don't remember all the dice roll on it, but I really feel like that 3 damage would have been what I needed to take those guys out. So Lane's already starting to pre-measure and see what he's going to do.
Look how far I can go.
Yeah, well, we'll be back and see how this all works out. So finishing off the Deathwatch movement phase, Lane kind of just pushed forward a little bit. These Outriders are now holding 2 objectives over here where he was able to contest both. In a really weird circumstance, we currently both have a banner on this objective at this moment in time, since mine won't come down until my command phase when it checks to see that I don't control it anymore. But kind of a cute little interaction. Otherwise, Lane's getting ready to pick up these Interceptors in the center so he can free up his Dreads and probably do a little damage down over into the Terminators maybe, or Interceptors, seeing how things go. All right, on to his shooting. All right, so Lane picked up a huge pocket of my guys. Not feeling too comfortable right now. Not feeling too comfortable with this at all. And he's decided that he's going to forego this nice little banner he put up there and decide to charge my guys that are back there. Got the Interceptors that are hanging out back there. So we'll come back after Lane's wrap-up and see how this all goes. All right, so Lane was able to pick up 3 of them, and in return, I picked up 1 of the Interceptors. Somehow all the way in the back, because he takes the damage.
That's one of your magic force swords that's exactly far away, I guess. I don't know.
And I guess these servitors are going to have to come in and clear, you know. He laughs now. It's going to be a tough pushback. Lane scored a lot this turn.
Yeah, 46 wounds for no prisoners, because I did pick up 23 Interceptors, and then also that would be, because I got 3 squads, that's 6 points for aboard the Witch. No more scans yet, no more banners. I was going to put up a banner here and decided to fight more. I'm here to fight, not raise flags. All
right, so now it's time for Grey Knights, see what we can do here. This right here is where the game is. These servitors are going to win the game for me. Right here. They're coming in. Power Claws a-wielding. Over here, well, we're gonna have to get jiggy with it. I'm not really sure what I'm trying to do, honestly.
You want to kill my Dreadnoughts?
I have to. I'm at a point where, unfortunately, you've put me in a position where I'm going to have to try and hit you, and I'm going to have to try and hit you hard. If I can clear the center somehow magically, emphasis on magic, then maybe I stand a chance. We're at the top of turn 4 right now, right?
Yeah, beginning of 4.
And
you've done chip damage to these Dreadnoughts. 8 wounds left, 9 wounds left. So it's not. They are very susceptible to being killed now. So I think you will kill both of them.
All right, this is going to be an interesting psychic phase. I'm going to have to take some time and figure this out. All right, so out of the psychic phase, we cast a gate on these Interceptors to try to finish off, since my Librarian went Mortal Wound Heaven and brought him down to 1 wound, got him into a nice spot. So unfortunately, the Smite failed on the Interceptor, so hopefully the...
it perilously failed.
It periled and failed, yes. That's where that 1 wound came from. So hopefully the Bolters are enough to chip that last wound off to get me the teleport strike, because I really cannot afford to not score 5 points on this turn. And then we just cast a Hammerhand and Sanctuary on the Terminators, and we'll see what we can do. We have quite a bit of work ahead of us still. No Purifying Rituals this turn, as I got to do some damage. I got to get some bad Marines off the board. All right, so finishing up the Grey Knight turn after combat, the Interceptors did make their charge and cleared a bunch of the bikes out of there. So there's only 2 bikes left. So we'll should be able to pick those up during my turn, hopefully. And then over here, we got both the Dreads. We got the one in the shooting phase, and we picked up the other one with Drago's charge. And we and the Terminators were able to clear the Eradicators and the, what are those guys called?
Proteus killed him. Firstborn Marines, yeah.
There we go. Got them out there. So at least we picked up 2 Dreads. Got 2 Dreads left. Lane's got a heavy hold on the score, though. I'm going to have a real big turn 5 and hope that this turn doesn't go too great for him. I am defensively buff with the turn, so we'll see what we can make happen. So the Outriders are stuck because now that the Infiltrators are gone, they cannot fall back to get out of the building. So that's going to be a nice, hopefully, I'm able to pick those up over here.
I mean, if you want to play by the rules.
Yes, I would. You're making me do it. I've tried to cheat like 4 times. You're not letting me. And here we got this Royal Rumble going on in the middle here. We got Librarian and Drago taking on a Dreadnought, a Tech Marine, a dude with a shield, and a Chaplain. Last man standing over the top rope. There's a rope involved. And then and then the Leviathan came back to make sure that I can't just sneak back here and steal this objective without actually putting some effort towards it.
You're gonna try.
And that's going to be it. So Lane's about to try and shoot down some of my characters here. So finishing off the Deathwatch turn, we were able to pick off. I didn't lose any Interceptors over here and got the last 2 of the bikes. However, the same cannot be said at center field, where I lost my Libby, lost Drago in the shooting, and lost 4 Terminators in combat. Dropped the Dread to 4 wounds in return, so maybe we'll be able to get some Psychic Hate and get rid of him there, hopefully. And we'll move into my turn 5 and see if I can pull anything out. I was able to get a 12 on primary, so that's at least a good start. All right, so we did a lot of craziness here. I spent my only 2 command points to shut move that last little Interceptor back here. He's going to scan that objective to give me 3 points on the primary. And over into the, went into the center, was able to pick up the Dreadnought in the combat step. And move on to take the objective at center. I was able to get 2 Purifying Rituals because I failed one and was really hoping to get that 4 points out of this, but failed the one in the back corner. Interceptors moved on to objective 3 and took it away, so they're going to take down that banner. So at least I was able to drop all of Lane's banners now and take this objective from him, even though he scores at the end of his turn. So that's going to be where we figure everything else out into there. And then the Apothecary, he fell back and purified this objective. So interesting turn. Was able to do some damage. Was able to pick up that last Dread. The last of the Redemptors. And move into the center. So we'll see what Lane can do. He's got 4 models. So Lane has abandoned the center. He doesn't want to mess with the Terminators. Instead, he's going to go try and pick on some Servitors. He got the Chaplain, went all the way to the corner to make a easier charge around the corner. He's still got a little bit of distance to go.
That's +2 to charge, letting anyone off, though.
But even if he fails, Lieutenant's going to try and rush in there and make things happen. Right, so that's where we stand right now. And we'll go into, I think it's going to be just going right over it.
Yeah, Leviathan's going to shoot in there.
And then charges.
Yeah.
All right, well, the Servitors weren't able to survive. So Chaplain was able to take the objective. And with that comes and also Leviathan was able to pick off the Marines in combat. So with that, we draw to a conclusion, a very, very tight and close game with a final score for the Deathwatch 80, Grey Knights 74. Guys, thanks for watching the game, and we'll be back with the post-game wrap-up.